Welcome back. Just a couple of quick things done this time. The holidays tend to bite into one's time and, well, the weather. Winter has set in, and my unheated garage doesn't do much to keep me from Canada's cold temperatures. Thus, a couple of relatively simple things to do with the few hours I have available to me. When my boys and I started this project, we didn't quite know where it was going to take us, but we knew it was going to be a journey and a discovery of new skills. So far, we have learned how to weld. Bodywork and paint will soon follow, but in the interim, we are considering, and I use that specifically, considering to do the interior by ourselves. Leather, marine vinyl, we'll have to see. Luckily, we don't have to make that decision yet. Regardless, some time was spent in the garage discovering the inner workings of the spider seats. Simply done. You don't need to remove the plastic cover of the metal hinge. Two of the connecting bolts are easily accessible and the third hidden behind a small covering disc. Actually, removing the entire plastic cover will probably damage it. The seat back only has a couple of screws on the bottom of it to remove, revealing the foam and spring interior. All of this will be cleaned and refreshed. Then to remove the vinyl, you will need to pop out the headrest guides. Just use a small socket on an extension and pound them out. The seat bottom has a few extra bends and clips that fasten the vinyl and the seat itself to the metal base. Again, not much to it, just a few clips and springs to release it all apart. And now that the Spider is mostly off the rotisserie, the rear seats grant some indication that there will actually be a drivable vehicle for us at the end of it. Those with sharp eyes might be able to see that the top and the bottom are of a slightly different color. That's because we're bequeathed with two full interiors. Anyone looking for seats, door cards, dashboard, let me know. Okay, so from this last summer, we need to put the lower ball joints on the correct side of the A-arm. There are a few ways to get the springs and shocks installed into the front suspension. According to the shop manual, you put the entire unit together, attach the lower A-arm, compress the spring, and then attach the upper A-arm. I went almost this route by attaching the upper A-arm first, then compress the spring to attach the lower A-arm. Worked well enough. On the driver's side, a spring compressor. I've got a set of these, but wouldn't suggest them for this application. The hooks don't fully purchase on the small springs, and the bolts do not allow enough clearance between the A-arms. So, off to the store for an internal spring compressor. It went well, but when we released the pressure, the U-plate was jammed between the springs and bits of A-arm. A lot of persuasion to get it out. Just an ugly way to go about it. The shock went in easily by attaching the top first, extending it fully, and then compressing the suspension with a small floor jack to connect. Very straightforward. And now on to the passenger side. A little more confidence and a little more experienced. Instead of compressing the spring separately and then having to hammer out the U-plate again, we SMRT-ly compressed it directly into the lower A-arm. This allowed me to get the spring's placement on the lower arm perfect, only to worry about getting the upper cap set properly. As you can see here, the U-plate is on the underside of the lower A-arm. Very solid placement and a piece of cake to align the spring into place. The shock went in just as easily as the driver's side. We were then able to, finally, fully remove the body from the rotisserie and drop her back down onto her 4 feet. With the back seats properly in place, Jade and Kenz were able to sit and enjoy the ride for the first time since, well, for the first time actually.